Okay, so when we look back at 2025, it's not going to be remembered for just a slightly faster chip or a bigger screen. Nope, the definitive story, the one that really changed the game, was this fundamental shift in what our technology could actually do.
And this is it, right here. This is the core idea. For years, we were the ones in the driver's seat, telling AI exactly what to do, step by step. But in 2025, that entire dynamic just flipped. AI started acting on its own.
And this massive change has a name, the agentic AI revolution. And let me be clear, this wasn't just another software update. We're talking about a total reimagining of what AI could be, and, more importantly, what it could start doing for us.
So what exactly is agentic AI? Well, think of it like this. 2025 was the year AI got its first real job. I'm serious. Instead of being a simple tool that just follows a command, it became an autonomous agent, something that could understand a complex goal, figure out the steps, and then just go do it all on its own.
Now, you might be wondering, how did this happen so quickly? It really came down to three huge breakthroughs happening all at once. First, the models from Google, OpenAI, they all got way better at actual logic and reasoning. Second, they finally cracked true multimodality, which just means they can process text, images, and sound all together, just like we do. And third, and this is so important, they got way more efficient, needing less power to do more complex work. And this wasn't just happening in a lab somewhere. It was popping up everywhere. CES 2025 was completely dominated by it. Businesses started using these systems to automate entire workflows. This new brain was powering the next generation of humanoid robots, and it's what finally made smart glasses from brands like Halliday and Rokid actually feel useful. So AI gets this massive promotion in 2025, right? But to do its new, bigger job, it needed a much better office, much better tools. And that meant the hardware we use every single day had to get a serious upgrade right alongside it.
And of course, the titans of tech responded in a big way. Apple went all in on raw power, dropping the iPhone 17 with its new A19 chip, which was built specifically for on-device AI. Samsung, though, they took a completely different approach. They bet on changing the form factor itself, giving us that ambitious and kind of wild Galaxy Z Trifold. And that A19 chip was an absolute beast. A 20% performance boost is huge. It was engineered from the ground up to handle these new agentic models right there on your device, no cloud needed. But Samsung's answer wasn't about more power. It was about more space. 3 screens. It was a massive canvas designed for you to really multitask with these powerful new AI agents. You know, it wasn't just about the flashy flagship phones, though. The whole ecosystem had to evolve. We saw huge breakthroughs in battery technology to actually power all this new processing. And we saw progress in these crucial, kind of behind-the-scenes areas, like AI watermarking, a vital tool for knowing what's real and what's not. But look, a technological leap this big doesn't happen in a vacuum. It sends these massive ripples out into society, and it forced us all to ask some really tough new questions about power, about politics, and about the planet itself. And really, one question started to define the entire conversation. What is the true cost of all this newfound intelligence? Because the problem was stark. The energy demand from AI data centers didn't just grow in 2025, it absolutely exploded. I mean, look at this. Running these incredible new models required an astronomical amount of power, and it created a whole new kind of crisis. This energy crisis sparked this frantic global search for solutions. We saw a surprising revival in nuclear power, especially with these smaller, modern reactors. And almost overnight, out of sheer necessity, the tech industry became one of the biggest drivers of the clean energy transition. At the exact same time, the geopolitical race was heating up. The US still held its lead in creating the most powerful AI models. But, and this is fascinating, US sanctions had this unintended effect. They basically supercharged China's domestic chip industry. And by the end of the year, their AI models were closing that performance gap fast. And you guessed it, governments all over the world were just scrambling to keep up. 2025 was a year of frantic policymaking. We saw new tariffs, major antitrust lawsuits, and endless debates about social media, all in an attempt to put some guardrails on an industry that was just moving at lightning speed. So how did all this set the stage for what comes next?
Well, all these different threads, the smarter models, the new hardware, the urgent need for power, they all wove together to not just define the year, but to create the very foundation for 2026.
And I think this quote just captures the essence of it perfectly. In 2025, AI moved from being a tool we told what to do to a partner that could act on its own. It was a profound, fundamental change.
So let's just quickly recap the key themes. You had AI dominance, driven by that shift to autonomous systems. You had hardware support, the new chips and batteries that let it all scale up. Sustainability became a non-negotiable issue, forcing new energy solutions. And finally, geopolitics, which acted as this powerful accelerator for innovation everywhere.
And that leaves us with the critical question for 2026 and for all the years to come. In 2025, we taught AI how to achieve our goals. So, what happens when it starts setting its own?